in this video, I'm going to give you all the places you need to go to do your basic LRF research. I'm Lee from How to Trick a Fish. I'm working very closely with Dan from LRF and HRF and our new venture, LRF Tutorials. So to get yourself started in research, I'm going to recommend a few different areas. I'm going to talk about some podcasts, some blogs, some reading, and a little bit of YouTube also. To get yourself started on your YouTube research journey, obviously you've come to the right place with the LRF tutorials or How to Trick a Fish or over on Dan's page, and we'll be able to give you lots of information and also help you out find some spots if you're clever enough to have a look through. Also, it's well worth checking out Richard Salter's Devon Lerfer, and we'll put some links up in some of the footage now, and as you can probably see, Rich gets out there and captures a lot of different species. He's a really good LRF angler, one of the big Lerf group on Facebook as well, one of the three gentlemen who run all those competitions, etc. Really knowledgeable LRF angler and very friendly guy too. Definitely check out his YouTube channel. Next, for the YouTube venture, I'd recommend you go and have a look at Hooked on Lure Fishing, which is presented by Andy Mytton. Andy gets mentioned again later on in this video, but Andy's YouTube channel is coming along strong, and there's lots of really useful information on there, some reviews, tips, and some adventure stuff too, which is quite good. Check out Dan Cooper's LRF and HRF, and you'll be able to see some of the tactics he uses to capture a wide variety of species. Caught about 60 species last year. I think he's very close to that this year already also. Moving on to blogs, I recommend you first check out Ben Bassett's blog. I'll put the link up in the description, and obviously we'll have it on screen now. Ben's website is really good, lots of information. Ben's been writing a blog for several years now, and they seem to be getting better and better. Andy Mytton also has a blog based on the Hooked on Lure Fishing brand as well, well worth checking out, lots of good information on there. Another really good blog is the lightrockfishing.co.uk. That is run by a gentleman called Adam Kirby, really good LRF angler, really knowledgeable. He also gets mentioned again in the podcast section at the end of this. Moving on to books, I'm going to start off with the Fish ID books. This should be your absolute Bible. It's not the cheapest. If I can find a cheap link, I'll stick it in the description. This is the identification guide to the inshore fish of the British Isles, and it's by a guy called Peter Henderson. Really top book. It's got really good photographs of all the different species, and tells you how to identify them from the different marks and stuff like that, and different items on the fish like fin placement, eyes, etc. It tells you roughly whereabouts in the UK you can catch a lot of these as well, and tells you some information around the fish and sort of feeding habits and diagnostic features, life history, stuff like that. It's a really good book, literally absolutely packed with just about every species you could possibly find in our waters. So anybody who's looking really for LRF to get into species hunting and you want to be able to identify your species, this is the best book I've come across yet. If you've got some better ones, please shout them out in the comments. Before I got this, these were my the old Bibles. I've got the old Collins Gem versions. This one's very old, picked up in the charity shop, but it did me well. It's very similar to the other one, except instead of photographs, it's got these little really nice illustrations. This covers fresh and salt water, so if you're not going to go for the more expensive one, what's great about this is it fits in your pocket or your tackle box, absolutely perfect. It's still pretty good for most of the species. You'll find near enough everything you're going to catch in this. The slightly bigger version is obviously the updated version of the original Collins Gem. So fish of Britain and Europe, loads and loads in there. It's great for also got when you're on your holidays and stuff like that, and you're going to find some stuff further afield. As you can see, the illustrations are pretty damn good, and again, it tells you a little bit about each of the fish. So really handy book if you're not going to go for the more expensive one. One of my favourite books, and it's by a guy I've actually got to know a little bit now, is Jack Perks. Freshwater Fishes of Britain. Jack went out and photographed just about every fish in British freshwater. And the photos in this book are absolutely beautiful. I'm a real big fan of Jack's work. He's done a DVD recently as well. We'll put a link up for that as well. I'm not sure if they're still available to buy. But the Britain's Hidden Fishes Project, a really good film. In the background, you might just about be able to see over here, I've got one of Jack's posters, which are on sale at the moment as well. I'll stick a link up for those as well. And it's got a bunch of different species on there. But yeah, this book is fantastic. It's got a lot of information about each of the British freshwater, and like I said, some really beautiful photographs. So yeah, definitely worth checking that one out. And then this is the book I would definitely recommend to all beginners. So if you're starting out in LRF fishing, obviously you've come to the right place with our channels, but you also need to be looking at this book. This is Hooked on Lure Fishing by Andy Mytton and Dominic Garnett. It is the sort of go-to Bible for getting started in LRF. It covers everything from tackle to different species, how you would target them, some methods, some location. It's an all in all an absolutely brilliant book. The chapters in it are brilliant. There's loads of photos, lots of good conversation in there, a range of lures and ideas. To be honest, when I first got into LRF and I started reading this book, it completely changed my approach to fishing in several ways. And it's got, it's just a really, really fantastic book all in all. It's got some great spots in there, some really good photographs as well, and some ideas about different ways to rig some fish, something you might not consider, some stuff like the wacky rigging and the neg rigs and stuff like that. Some really, really interesting stuff. So yeah, I would definitely consider buying this book. I will find the link for you. I'll speak to the author, see if I can get a link from them. But if not, you can get this book on Amazon. So it's well worth checking this out. That's Hooked on Lure Fishing by Dominic Garnett and Andy Mytton. It is the Bible of LRF. And the last section, we're going to move on to podcasts. Now, we're not exactly podcast heavy in the LRF scene at the moment, so feel free for anybody out there who's thinking about starting one. We need some more content coming out. But the two I'm going to recommend for you, first of all, is Big Lerf podcast, which is made by Richard Salter, Joe Mole, and Ben Bassett. Really, really worth listening. And all in all, it's a very entertaining podcast. And also, you'll hear lots of what's going on in the LRF scene around the country at any given time.
The Big Lerf podcast, talking LRF and more.
And last but not least, and it's my favourite fishing podcast I've listened to so far, the first episode is absolutely fantastic, talking about their Cornish Lure Festival adventure, and it's the DNA podcast, DNA standing for Dan and Adam, and it's Dan Sissons and Adam Kirby. Well worth checking out the podcast. Also, obviously, I've mentioned Adam Kirby's blog earlier on, the lightrockfishing.co.uk. Get yourself over and check out that podcast. Have a good listen. Like I said, that first episode is absolutely fantastic. I think they're on episode 3 now, or possibly 4. Really, really good so far. All right, thanks everybody for watching. Like I said, this was our sort of idea around research video. So those are some places you can go and find some really, really valuable information. You'll definitely learn a lot. But if you have others and we're not aware of them, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and fill in the comments. The more that you guys put in the comments, the more we can make. But also, you can all help each other. So if you've got some books you can recommend, please put it in the comments so our other viewers can check out those comments and obviously check out that content too. Guys, thanks very much, and we'll see you all again on the next video.